Greetings, THL. This is Lotus Knight bringing you a special Super Bowl timed Sunday Showdown. Today, I am joined by a special co-caster who's joining me, Ben. How are you doing, Ben?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, good. Ben is joining us um, for the first time. He is not a THL player, so I hope everyone gives him their warm welcomes. We're going to feature a special match today. We have Skittles versus Nine Eyebrows. This is a hero match, so it is last hero standing. And we have the Druid, Paladin, Rogue, and Warlock for Skittles for Team No Pros here versus Nine Eyebrows for Team The Cult, who's playing the Druid, Hunter, Warlock, and Warrior. This is a bit of a weird class choice for Skittles. I think right now everyone's bringing the hunter a lot, so the paladin instead of the hunter is a bit of a surprise. I think this is going to be a good match, though. I hope you're excited. I am a little bit late, so I'm going to start this pretty fast. Let me make sure
That
they're
sounds good.
all set. So we do have their bans. Skittles is banning the hunter, I believe, while the paladin is getting banned for nine eyebrows. So this is an interesting choice. I feel like if they're doing this, they're probably trying to get away from Holy Wrath and not get punched in the face for 25.
That sounds about right. I would hate to get punched in the face by the end of the game like that.
Yeah. Well, this is a interesting choice. Well, I'm preparing this. I'll just click here. Guess we can begin. Let me tell them to start whenever they're ready.
So, Lotus, what do you think should be the first pick for both of these players?
Right, so for last hero standing, that actually matters a lot. I think I'm expecting there's a bit of a rock paper scissors game, but you want the class that has the biggest chance to pass. Because Skittles Rogue is a little bit contested, I would expect him to actually open with a Rogue. It's his weakest class against the what he's facing, since he banned the Hunter. Versus for Nine Eyebrows, I think if he expects the Rogue first, I would go for most likely a Druid opener. That sounds like it makes sense to me. What do you think? Do you agree?
For me personally, in Last Hero Standing, I would more likely open with something that's really strong.
Okay,
And for me, I think Druid is at a really good standing right now.
that
And
is
if
true.
both players opening with Druid, I would I would think that's expected.
Okay, so you were right for Skittles. Nine Eyebrows is going with the Warlock, though. So we'll start and see how that goes. We have Dragonblight Cultist, Plague of Flames, and Mortal Coil for Nine Eyebrows versus. Let me spectate Skittles so we can get access to that. So they are playing really fast. We see the Breath of Dreams versus Skittles just tapping and getting some cards out. He plays the Cultist on turn 3.
I think I entered a little late, and I think Nine Eyebrows mulliganed away a plague of flames. Do you think that's a
He
good
did.
idea?
I think this is an interesting decision, actually. It is a very important card in this matchup just to counter all the big guys that are coming down. Hmm. So we have the Oasis Surger just building a board, which could be contested by a dragon if he had one that was active. Meanwhile, Skittles keeps the pressure up. I think we're going to see probably the evasive worm is just an easy kill. If he did an AoE there, he likely doesn't have it. That's probably what Skittles is thinking. There's
That's
also the
right.
quest Ziliax, which I think is better just because you want the quest active. What do you think here?
I do like the quest. It is one of the strongest cards for
Yes.
this certain druid deck,
Yeah,
especially if you
and
can get it early. And this seems early enough for me.
yes, I think so. Plus, the draw of the dragon was a little annoying there for Skittles, but the evasive worm lines up really well against it.
It does.
Okay, so we're going to see the dragon again.
So apparently this deck runs Dragon Maw.
Yes,
Do you like that card?
I think that's a good tech card in this kind of scenario. It is sometimes run in Druid and Ladder just because how Druid is prevalent right now. Um, so I would expect it to be around.
And I'm assuming that's also since the new expansion has a lot of dragons, and the best decks out there all kind of run some sort of dragons in it. It might not be too bad, right?
Yeah, a lot of decks, plus the lackey that discovers the dragon also makes dragons really good. You just have a really strong game there.
So now that Skittles' hand is getting a little more smaller, do you think
Yeah.
it's a good idea to just clear the board here and wait it out?
I mean, knowing his hand, it is a good idea to clear the board. I think Dark Skies does a really good job at this. Um, Godfrey isn't that good in this matchup. It can help kill the Reborn, but it's not. This deck doesn't flood the board that much. So I think this is a fine play. The Winged Guardian is really strong here, though. It kind of sets up a pretty big board, especially with a Fey Wing. He is going to have to waste a Dark Skies to clear this. Or Dark Skies, and the Devoted Maniac lines up perfectly. So he keeps clearing. The Warlock does win if he just keeps clearing the board because he has Galakron. The issue is he can't tap much longer.
I feel like he's still very efficient. That's quite good to me, right?
Yeah, he's been
And
really efficient with his cards.
spend minimal amount of mana to clear out really big minions. And that's just beautiful.
Yeah. No, when you can do that, it just feels a lot stronger. You have the Discover here. Alex is an interesting choice. I don't think I would expect that against basically any deck, just because it's not as strong as it seems. It's a really good card, but taking the Alex means you're waiting until you're going Highlander, or you're just playing a pretty bad 9 mana 8/8.
With how much Warlock draw, it should come up pretty soon, I believe.
Oh, I meant for the Druid, but yes. I
Oh,
think
for the
Dragon Queen
Druid,
Alexstrasza is really good for the Warlock. I'm expecting a Plague of Flames. Just clear this.
isn't that 9 mana 8/8 coming from Emerald Explorer?
Yes, but I think there
Right.
might have been a better choice there. They are choosing really fast, so it's hard for us to say.
Yeah, they do choose it quite fast. The fact that Skittles have a Leroy in hand means there can be an upset at any point, especially if Nine Eyebrows is not careful.
Right. Something interesting to note is that the Alex is active here. I don't think this is the turn for it, but it is something that could happen at any moment.
The problem is he doesn't seem to have so many single target clear anymore, except for the two Nether Breath.
Yes,
It seems like if he can't clear this out efficiently, he might be in a little bit of trouble.
that's true.
And then the Nether Breath can't target these minions either. So that's another thing.
Right. Okay, so he
What do you
goes
think
for a
about this
more.
play?
Sorry?
What do you think about this play? He opts not to play something like Galakron, but instead fill up the board. I can see how a 5/4 trade into the taunt, 6 damage to the face, Leroy and Swipe would be lethal.
Yes. Um,
Uh, do you think he thinks about that, or
I think he's thinking about swipe, but I think he's probably also thinking that he can't afford to play around it. I'm not sure at this point if he has much of an option there.
that's right?
There is the Plague of Flames, so he's probably going to kill one of them and Plague of Flames, and then play the 2 mana 2/1 lifesteal to get that health back. So we're probably seeing the Galakron here. Just clearing the board, and this might be game. It's really hard to
This
recover
might.
from this point.
That's a good Galakron board.
Yeah. The thing is, when we think of demons, we typically think they're small demons, but Galakron tend to get at least one big guy, like Illidan, or even the 5/2. And Biggin is a bit too late there. Would have been great earlier.
It would be
Yeah.
great. Early and big and might have pushed it over the top and get Skittle a win, but he did not draw it early.
No, he did not. So that means Skittles loses his Druid.
Which is a really strong deck that
It is a
have
really
pretty
important
much
class here.
even or a little advantage matchup with most other decks. Am I right?
Yes. And we're getting back for the next matchup where the Warlock continues. Now it must beat the Rogue.
Warlock and Rogue. What do you think about this?
So, Nine Eyebrows is forced to stick to the Warlock because of last hero standing format. The Rogue is interesting here. Typically, this is Warlock favored. Especially techs like Bone Wraith are pretty useful against the Rogue when the Rogue starts doing his face plan.
And Warlock also have a lot of board clears, while Rogue doesn't use the board too much. So
That's true, except for a play like Edwin or something. But Rogue is not
except
the biggest board fan.
so maybe the goal here is for Warlock to just keep tapping and Rogue get a surprise Leroy in the face. That might be it.
That's true. That's the way the Rogue wins. I think part of Nine Ambrose' goal is just to get some minions out, especially get the Galakron as early as he can. He does have the most important card in this matchup, which is the Galakron itself. I really don't like going face with a weapon there for Skittles, but I kind of I don't actually mind just playing Seal Fate in your own face because it's not that important of a card in the mirror. I think you could even have thought of doing that. But this does make sense. It's setting up the lackeys, starting to prepare for future plays.
Hmm. Honestly, seal feet to the face is not the most natural move I would go for
No,
either.
but I think if you have Galakron, you want to get it done as fast as possible. This
Yeah,
is
I
technically
absolutely
fine.
understand it.
Because he has the two praise Galakrons, I think this is fine. We're going to see a really fast one, though. This is definitely going to be a turn 7 Galakron, which is always super scary. And with that Leroy, it's all going to be about surviving for long enough. Nine
And with
Eyebrows
Rogue, a
continues
lot
to
of burst
improve.
damage can come out,
Yeah,
especially when Galakrond can draw a bunch of 0 mana cost cards
yes,
that improve many combos.
yes. It's also one of the strongest decks right now, if not the strongest. It's a bit weaker because of Druid, but still can't question the Rogue's strength in the current meta. Okay. He's setting it up to just play the Galakron next turn.
Yeah, the Rogue's one is already fully upgraded.
Yes, it's really fast because Praise Galakron being so cheap makes it really easy for the Rogue to get a very early start on his Galakron.
Mhm. When you look at it, Leroy Jenkins have 2 Shadow Steps to
Yes,
support him, and that could be a lot of damage.
yes, if he can set up anything big right now with his Galakron, it's going to be really hard for Nine Eyebrows to win. I do think the Cheaty Ankle Biter has been super effective in these matchups, though. I'm surprised by that card. We do see the Bone Wraith come down.
Do you think Bone Wraith is actually a good card?
On average, it actually performs really well. It's not a common card in this deck. And we do see a pretty important card for basically any matchup, which is good old Edwin.
Skizzles have a 0 mana Edwin with a lot of cards. A
Yes.
lot of cards that can help making him even bigger.
Yeah. I don't think he would want to Shadow Step just to get it out, but it's quite scary right now if you can make it
It's still
bigger.
an 8/8.
It is still an 8/8. Going to see that Dark Skies come down, killing the Edwin, and we see. Are we seeing the Worshipper? Yeah, that makes more sense. It's just a better on curve play.
How do you think Skittle will finally throw down the world here?
So I think if he can
It is
get
still far
Togwaggle
away, right?
to just get more cheap free cards, it might be useful. But at this point, it isn't looking great. He has played most of his free cards from Galakrond himself. There's some good chance that he's going to play Kronks and find something out of it. Also, the Rogue has not found Plague of Flames or Galakrond yet, or the Warlock.
The problem is, if you want Leroy Shadow Step to end the game for you, you need to wear down the Warlock a little bit. Warlock is still very, very healthy.
Yes, plus he has two taunts in hand, and both of them are really good right now.
Yes, he does.
We are seeing the new card Skyvateer here. It's an interesting choice. Some players have been bringing it recently. We are
Mm,
probably just seeing some AoE, most likely the dragon here. The dragon plus the cultist lines up really well. And Togwaggle is there, which might mean a good break for Skittles.
let's see if he plays it. If Taco Waggle comes out, um, a nice treasure,
Yes,
and then Leroy on turn 10.
and I think you can even use it more than once. He's going to Kronks first to try to set um, the whole combo next turn. I also think Shadow Stepping next turn, the Togwaggle, might be a great idea.
Do you think Krongs could have gone for deal 5, heal 5?
I think he
That would
wanted to
put
deal with the
Warlock
board.
down to 15
It is
and
true.
bring in a chance of lethal.
His deck does pack a lot of healing though, so you're always afraid he's going to heal out of range or to put a taunt. I think this is correct just because you know his deck plays a lot of minions that can stop you.
Dark Sky is always a very strong card. So 3 mana clear,
Yes,
basically 9-10 health worth of minions.
right. We do see the flick here. And it loses his own card. And I think we're to see the first Dogwaggle. Probably the one, maybe the crown. I would like the crown. I think the crown might even be better. He doesn't choose to Shadow Step his Dogwaggle, which I think is a big mistake here. Okay,
I
we
mean,
know Galacron.
you can't double shadow step Leroy anyway, so you only need one of it,
Yes,
right?
unless
I
he's
believe.
looking for a fast lethal. But
I
I'm
think
assuming.
he think Togwaggle won't die, and that's a 5 damage for free. If that's the case,
I can see that at the same time. Um, with a Warlock with so many control tools, I don't expect it to ever survive.
I feel like Skittles on his back foot again. That's
Skittles
why
is on his
he
back.
might do something a little crazier to try and make it work. Try to
Right.
play a win condition instead of playing just not to lose.
Sure. We do see the wand here. There's the
Viscerate
other
is a strong
Abyss.
one.
There's also Dragon's Horde. We can always generate something impressive. Ooh, so we have an Issera that's probably coming down soon.
That's a very value kind of play.
Yeah, so he's basically saying that he can survive a Galacron onslaught if that comes probably soon, but that he can just start making a bunch of dragons and win through value. I think it's a really interesting choice here.
It is a very interesting choice. A rogue saying that he can win to a warlock in a value game. Let's see if
Yeah,
he's right.
yeah, and it's not Quest Rogue.
It is not Quest Rogue.
Hmm,
And even Quest Rogue, it's more aggro-ish after the quest is finished.
that's true.
It's not ever about value too much, am I right?
That's true. So here, the question is: do you respect the board? Do you go for a Twisty Nether off of Zephyrus? I'm not sure I would respect it that much. An option is always to Galacron and maybe even Plague of Flames, but Galacron Plague of Flames does not feel good.
Oh no, that is horrible.
Yeah,
I am
I
thinking with 4 cards left and there's no Godfrey. Godfrey must be in there somewhere, right?
Godfrey
You
is
can't just
definitely in
play
there.
He
So
can
he's
play
going to.
something like Flick of Flame for nothing and then tap. But this also works.
I think this
Twisting
is
Nether
better.
Edge
Just
also
as a.
works.
It does stop. It's a little annoying because you have to lose your board, but it's worth it. The unexpected Desera, though, coming down.
Here is the value play.
Yeah, how many dragons
There are
are we
not,
going to see? Is that enough to stop the Warlock?
well, there are not a lot of cards left in the Rogue's deck. And
No?
within those little cards, there are 7 Dream Portals.
Yes.
So there's a good chance 2 or even 3 dragons will be summoned in the next
Yes.
turn.
That is true. The more dragons summoned, the harder the game becomes
So
for a
quick
9
math
eyebrows.
question. What are the chances that within those 13 cards, the 7 top cards are all Dream?
I would actually need to do the math. It's 1 in, or 5 and 13, 4, or 7 and 13, 6 in 12, etc., etc.
It's,
And you,
I know it's pretty low, but that might just be the way to win right there.
yeah. So we don't
However,
see
he's
it.
unlucky enough that he doesn't draw any portal at all.
Yes. Hmm. That is
How
still
about this?
respect.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
Shadow Step is Sarah. Play it out again. You get another 7 portals in your deck.
You
That's
do.
super strong.
We do see the Faceless Corruptor, which kind of sets up fairly aggressive play or a fairly defensive play of killing the 3/5s.
And also, Nine Eyebrows Galacron summoned 3 taunts. Or no, 2 taunts, and then.
Yes.
But still, those are really good taunts, and it
Mm-hmm.
definitely really helps with a Leroy in Skittles' hand.
Yes. I'm thinking we probably see the Plague of Flames come down at this point. It's an easy clear. Or we just see Kronks.
Cross also works really well here.
Yeah.
Is Skittle thinking that there can't be any taunts? Is that. Or
No,
does
he did see the lethal. There are enough
he saw
eviscerates
the
to actually
lethal?
deal
There is a
lethal.
lethal.
So the rogue gets it out without summoning a bunch of dragons, just by
Honestly,
actually
I
going
didn't
with
need.
the classic Leroy Evis Shadow Step the Leroy play.
I
Nice.
absolutely did not see that at all. I thought the Warlock was so healthy. There's no way there's a lethal in their hand, right? But there is, and he saw
There
it.
is. It's always hard. Sometimes you. There's always a lot happening in these games.
That is an amazing Leroy into Eviscerate.
Yeah, it's the thing with Galakron. You always need to check for lethal. There's pretty good chance every time where it happens. And we do,
So
with that, have the Warlock down for 9 eyebrows.
now we have a 1-1 even game.
We do have a 1-1 even game. Unexpected even game to me. But we are seeing the Embiggen Druid for 9 eyebrows with a
With
pretty
2
crazy
Beacons in
start.
hand, 3 of the best cards to draw, and he got all three.
He is playing the
However,
first one.
he would be playing with a small hand size, and without ramp, double and big in might be a big trouble because it would make minions way too expensive to play.
Yes.
So he really have to think about the second and big in.
Yeah. If you
Without
had Breath of
losing,
Dreams or something, it's a lot easier to play it.
and also knowing that the druid always have like really big minions
Yes.
and a lot of embiggens, do you think Skittles is going to be playing a big Edwin next game, next turn?
So one of the ways you can win this matchup is via Edwin. I think we see the Skyvateer into a huge Edwin turn 4. An early Edwin is a way you win, so
Actually, I would expect some sort of coin Shadow Step Edwin on turn 3.
yeah, I'm
Just,
thinking the lackey happens here and just going crazy with the lackey.
yeah.
Shadow stepping the lackey, battle coining.
But he would put Edwin out like one turn late. Do you think it's worth it?
I think it is. He doesn't go full in on it. Don't think I like that. I actually like a big Edwin here.
I like a big Edwin too. Seeing how there are two embiggens, meaning the
Yeah.
minions cost even more than usual,
Yeah. Well,
making it
Edwin, this deck, even if most people are not running silence in this deck, it's a good way to end it early, and it is a matchup where you kind of need to do something as early as possible.
that's right.
There could be a coin flick or just a coin get more lackeys. Yep, Miscreant is back. I think we might see. So we do see Celestia, which is actually really good against Druid. Okay. This is a bit of a meme, but we are seeing Harbinger Celestia here. I
That
don't
is
mind.
an amazing card in this very specific matchup. A card that no
Yes,
one plays.
pretty much. You do get a 5/9 just out of that minion. It's maybe a tech against Embiggen Druid that people should be paying more attention for. Probably
Maybe it
not.
is.
Don't quote me on it.
Maybe it should be.
Maybe, but also
It's a
probably not.
4 mana card that can copy all the biggest minions in Big and Druid have to offer. I don't see how that's not a good thing.
There's a tech against it. We do see the flick and bringing back the flick because the flick is really insane against big guys. And you keep that 5/9 healthy.
Hmm. I don't think he can afford to ramp up a little more,
I don't think this is the
especially
right
now that
moment.
he have sufficient mana to just play one big thing every turn.
Oh, this is really bad. He chose to ramp,
Yeah,
but now he has to deal with this. And Leroy
that
is
was
drawn. We're going to see an early Galakron just for one. Maybe that one card is enough to get lethal soon. This is a free sap. It's really good in this matchup.
really good. All the taunts all of a sudden becomes useless.
Pretty much. Wind Guardian, we know the flick is in hand, so that is going to not yet end the game, but bring it pretty close to an end.
You
If
also
he
have
gets
prongs
damage
active.
lackey.
Prongs prongs can deal 5 to face. That will bring us to pretty close to lethal right
Yes.
here.
Oh, there's the spell lackey, or the damage lackey, so we do see
Mm.
lethal here. Two unfavorables in a row, but Skittle seems to keep his grip on the match.
Rogue is looking really strong right now.
Rogue is really strong. It's just overall, Rogue is the kind of deck that can do a lot. It's
It
really
kind
tough
of
to beat.
has all sorts of answers for everything.
Pretty much. It's interesting how Rogue is becoming a very controlly deck right now. We go back to game 4 where the Warrior is now facing the Rogue, and we see that it's a Galakrond mirror in the sense that, well, different classes, but both are bringing Galakrond decks.
Galcron seems to be the go-to decks for all these players here.
Pretty much. I think an interesting choice here is whether or not you keep Galakrond for Nine Eyebrows. And I think he does. With the Chopper, it is really good. And especially with the Awaken as well. Just setting up your strong early game. That Grand Mummy is also really useful.
With how much armor a warrior can stack up,
Yeah.
how do you think Rogue can burst through that?
Well, Galakrond doesn't. Galakrond plays a mid-range style. It's much more tempo-y. So even if cards like Eternium Rover can help you stack up, it's definitely doable. It isn't as bad as it used to be. I think this is actually an
It's not
interesting
as bad.
choice, Nine Eyebrows.
Using the chopper here, that would give him a 4 attack into
The one,
some smaller minions.
I'm not sure how much I like the Chopper. I think the Taskmaster was enough of a board presence just to stop whatever he was doing.
I think so too. A taskmaster can kill the cat, right? It would give
Yeah,
you a
not saying it is the best
1/2
card,
versus
but
a 2/2.
yeah, I think I like that way more. We do see the Awaken, which is really good here. And he plays it afterwards to make sure he deals this with the smallest cat possible. Now, Scion of Ruin is active, and that card can be very scary when it is active. Yeah, we're going to
It's
see it come
way
down,
too much
just clearing
value
the
for
board
4 mana.
here. 4 mana, 3/2s with Rush sounds a bit OP.
That's way too much value
And the
for a
card
4 mana
used to
card.
cost 4 or 3. So even after the nerf, that is still the strongest card in the deck.
It used to cost 3. What
Yeah.
are people pleaser thinking?
Yeah, pretty much.
What is wrong with you,
They wanted to pump
you
Galakrond
people?
decks, but I think they might have done a bit too much for a while. Still not as bad as Shaman. Ooh, we're going to see Shutterwalk as an option. It's a really interesting option for Rogue. As long as you don't play Edwin, Rogue really likes getting extra zero cost cards, and Shutterwalk does draw extra zero cost cards. He is also going to Shadow Step to finish his Invoke sequence. I like it. I like this play a lot. Just getting a bit more of invoking done.
You think he would be okay with just playing a Galacron that's upgraded once?
I think so because he has the Shutterwalk. The Shutterwalk is going to do the same. And just trigger a bunch of random battle cries and invokes. Maybe he doesn't do it depending on what he draws.
There we go.
We do see
Galacron's coming out.
the first Galakrond does come out. No great buff here. I don't think these are the ones you ever look for.
Both Galacrons are out. Shadow Step's already a 0 mana cost. That's not the best.
The shield is really good though.
Shield is, for sure.
We're seeing the Kronks to clear here. Or most likely to clear. Yeah.
It's not bad.
No, makes sense, but Skittles' hand is scary.
Wow, when I look at Nana Eyebrow's hand, I kind of getting reminded of Patron Warrior. Do you
It
remember that?
is. They play very similar cards. It's actually quite an accurate comparison, I think.
It's a very similar hand, except for the 2 new cards, the 2 buffed cards.
Yes.
Other than that, it's a
Yeah.
very patron warrior-esque hand.
It's also a super aggressive deck, which I think is really interesting.
It is very aggressive. Um, a
It,
Corcoran Elite can put in a lot of damage to face when it's
yes.
buffed up with Inner Rage and Cruel Taskmaster.
Now, this seems to be a build-up turn, which is not great for Nine Eyebrows because that does mean Skittles has lethal. And I assume Skittles will notice the lethal here. He does.
He sees it,
He plays the Leroy.
captures it, and he wins. His
Wow.
performance is better than Shakira tonight. That is amazing.
It's a
Turnaround
really interesting
with a
result.
Rogue. 3 in a row with Rogue. I've got to try to play more Rogue now, I guess.
Yeah, Rogue is still really strong. I guess this concludes the match so far. This was actually a really fast match. Both of them were playing lightning fast. I think there were a few mistakes here and there, but overall it was a really solid match.
Very solid match. Rogue performed really well. Both players played their best, and I don't see much misplays in there.
Yes. Let me see if Skittles is willing to come just for a short interview post match. Okay, he's coming soon. He's just setting his kid down. We do have a few dads in THL playing here.
Oh, absolutely. Hearthstone is a dad-friendly game.
Yes,
That
that is
makes a
true.
little more money to buy all the cards, and it's not a hand-eye coordination kind of
Yes,
game where when you get older you get a little worse just because. So yeah, Hearthstone is definitely a dad-friendly game for sure.
yes. Let me add him.
Actually,
Sorry, I might have cut you a second. Are you still there, Ben?
yeah. I was saying that when we were still coaching,
Yeah.
I coached a dad.
Yeah, that's true. I coached at that as well. Don't remember the name.
Look,
Hey, Skittles, how are you doing?
I'm not doing too bad.
Yeah. How did you feel about the match? What did you think?
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
The I had two kind of game plans going into it.
Yeah.
I had a lineup where I would ban Warlock and a lineup
Yeah.
where I would ban Hunter. And I kind of expected him not to ban the Rogue, but I wasn't sure if he would ban the Druid or the Hunt
Mm-hmm.
or the or what's the one he banned?
The
The
Paladin.
Paladin. Yeah.
Did you expect the Paladin ban at all?
Um. Yeah, it kind of told me what he was going to be playing just because he did ban Paladin. So
Right.
obviously the hand lock was going to be one, and then the Embiggen Druid is pretty weak to that too. So it kind of foretold what was going to happen. So
Yes.
I don't know. I had game plans for either one, but
Mm-hmm.
I picked the wrong one, but it worked out in the end.
Yeah. I think you did a really good job. You won two unfavorable matchups there.
Yeah, that Embiggen Druid one, he had a pretty bad draw. Like the initial
He
draw was
did.
good, but the rest of it was pretty bad.
Yeah, I think there's a really interesting decision of whether or not to play him big and early.
That's right.
Yeah,
He had two ambitions, right? And
the
that
first
can
one Yeah. The first one was okay. The second one, he waited a couple turns, so maybe he had a curve from there, but it just didn't feel right at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, when you don't have the Breath of Dreams, it just makes it so much harder because you don't have an extra mana to play with.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Any interesting plays you're thinking, Ben, or any moments you want to comment about?
Yeah, I want to ask, when you were playing Rogue versus the Embiggen Druid, and you saw that he had like two Embiggens, and you did not play a really big Edwin out, what was your thought process behind that?
Okay, so the way the rogue usually wins that matchup is they get the flick onto the 6/8 taunt, the Winged Guardian.
Mm-hmm.
They get the flick onto that, and I had the Shadow Step in hand, so I was going to hold it off until I could play it a second time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that
And it
paid
ended up
off.
working out. Mhm.
Yeah. That was an interesting choice. I think Rogue can always win because of early Edwin, so I was wondering whether you were
Mhm.
going to go for that or not.
Yeah, with him not really pressuring and I had a 6/6 up, it was pretty easy to not make a big
Sure,
Edwin, right?
that's true. Um,
What
let's
did you
see.
guys think of the Dragon Horde tech?
I
It
think that
didn't
was a
really come into
really
play,
interesting.
but
I super wanted the Shutterwalk to see play.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Just a bunch of free cards, and I think Dragon's Horde is the kind of card that sometimes it can go super crazy.
Hmm.
Skittles knows really well how much I like some crazy cards. We
Hmm.
had some interesting discussions about that kind of thing on Duos. I liked it,
Yeah.
honestly. I think it's an interesting card. I think it's underplayed. It is way better in the Thief version because you can make a 3/4 on turn 2 with Rush.
Yeah, absolutely. The reason that
Yeah,
I brought it this week is simply because of the closed deck list. And
right.
as soon as you see an early Dragon's Horde, you're going, he's Highlander.
Yes,
And then you have that extra potential of not playing around the second sap, right? Or something like that.
that's true. There's also the little mind games there.
Yeah.
Highlander is still strong, even if it has fallen out of favor just because of how strong Galakron Rogue is.
Hmm.
But Highlander Rogue is definitely still an option.
Yeah, definitely. Any
Yeah,
rogue is an option.
yes. With this match, I believe your team wins this week. Yeah, you guys
Yeah,
beat
that
the
is
cult
correct.
this
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, just barely squeaked it out, but we got there.
Yeah, you guys are doing really well, though. I feel like you're one of the strongest hero teams still.
Yeah.
4-0.
Well, my team is doing really well. I'm on the right path to turn it around now. That's my first win in Heroes. So
That's true. How
yeah.
does it feel to play hero versus legacy? What are you thinking?
Well, I'm not playing Legacy. I'm just captaining Legacy, but I
Okay,
am playing
right.
Pro, which is the same thing.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, kind of. I guess you got closed deck list, open deck list, but
Yeah.
still the same Conquest BO5, right?
Yes.
So uh, I like Hero a lot more, just strictly because of the closed deck list, and you can do those little added techs that maybe somebody didn't see coming, or you can bring a spicy deck. Like this week, I was that my Hunter ban, or sorry, my Warlock ban had Mech Paladin included, whereas
Hmm.
this Warlock or Hunter ban had the Holy Wrath Paladin for the Warlock matchup.
Right. Hmm.
Like the Mech Paladin would have been good into Embiggen Druid, any
Yeah.
Hunter that he brings,
Yeah.
stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
So,
but you really don't want to face Warlock or Warrior.
right. Warrior's not too bad because you can make such a big board that they really can't deal with, right? Like,
Sure.
have you seen the Mech Paladin with the Righteous Cause?
I have. I don't really love that deck that much.
It's definitely got its place in a tournament type setting. I
Yeah.
don't know if I would ladder with it. And the fact
Right.
that my opponent didn't bring Rogue kind of gave me that option to bring it this week because I didn't
Yeah.
have to ban or play against Rogue, right?
I think that not bringing Rogue is a really interesting choice. Rogue just feels
Yeah.
so strong, and I say this after watching this match.
Hmm.
Rogue feels really strong right now.
I can make a case for it in Legacy or Conquest because you can specifically hard target a matchup or a class type, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and you can focus on destroying that class type. Like you can bring all aggro decks and focus on beating the rogue down, right, or something like that, right?
Right.
So I can make a case for it in that, but in hero, it's just it's so strong and it can be so many different archetypes that you just have so
Mm-hmm.
many options.
Yeah.
It seems like Rogue just have the answer to everything.
Yeah,
It
for sure.
it can burst a lot of damage with Leroy, and it can clear the board decently well too.
Yeah. I had a brief chat with Nine after we were finished the match there, and he was telling me that he blew game two pretty hard because he had 2 times sack pack in hand.
Yeah. Yeah. He could have healed a lot.
Yeah. But sitting at 20, you're not really expecting 20
No.
damage from hand.
The thing is with Galakron, you can always get more and more damage, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any last questions or comments or?
I think that's about good. That's about it. Sounds good.
Well, thank you for letting us stream your match, Skittles. It was awesome, as usual. The one
Yeah.
last thing I'll say is you guys were playing so fast.
Oh yeah. It probably makes it tough to cast that way.
Yeah, no, I was surprised because in duos we played super slow pretty much every match because we would spend way too long discussing some plays.
See, that's the thing though. You can discuss those plays with your partner, whereas
Yes.
I have my mind set on a certain play, and then I play it, and then I'm like, oh, but what about this, and what about this? You know, like
Yeah.
you have other options, but you tunnel vision on one, and that's the one I want to do because it seems good, and I go for it, and then I'm like, ah, crap, I could have done something better.
Right. I think it makes it interesting though. Um, Thank you for coming, and thank you, Ben, for co-casting with me. I hope you had
Yeah,
fun and feel welcome by the THL community.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks for jumping in.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you for all the viewers. We'll be here. I believe there's a new show on Tuesday with Last Saloon. So we'll see you all then. I'll be live on Hearth Center. If you want your name to be read in Hearth Center's Guess the Player game, which has been a lot of fun, send me a short description of yourself, and we're going to have round 3 this week. Hope to see you all then. Good night.
See you guys.
Night.
Thanks for casting on Football Sunday.